Hi, this is Andrew Twidwell, owner of ABT Plumbing, Electric, Heat and Air. Once again, with the show You Got This. It's the show of DIY do's and don'ts. And I'm sitting here in the studio once again with Mr. Dan Foss, the head of our drain cleaning division, and Rosalie Brown down in LA. And we were kind of talking off camera, off air about some of the things that we do outside of this ABT stuff, and we're talking about some of the well, it's not really philanthropic, but some of the community stuff that we do. And Dan is actually a soccer coach for, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you're coaching and what you're doing and why you're doing it? Because it is it's an interesting thing and a little local angle. And we've all, if you have kids, you probably coach soccer at some point in your life. I know I have, so.
Yeah, I'm the varsity boys and girls soccer coach for Sale and Godoti. The two schools are so small they combined for sports programs, and they had been looking for a soccer coach for like 2.5 years, and I was at one of the first parent-teacher meeting when my daughter was, or not parent-teacher, but the first orientation meeting when my daughter was a freshman at Godoti. And so then what I did is somebody had asked, well, what sports do you guys offer? And well, we offer volleyball, basketball, and they said, well, what about soccer? And they said, well, we've been looking for a coach. And I'm sitting there I used to be a varsity coach out in Virginia, and I'm just looking ahead, and I kind of feel eyes burning into the side of my face. And I look over, and my daughter's looking at me going, well, and then my ex-wife is sitting next to her going, well, and I'm like, I've got to talk to my boss, I got to talk to my wife, I got to, because it's time consuming. Yeah. And but I love it. I've always enjoyed coaching soccer and coaching in general. It's a chance to not just share the love of the sport, but to reach into these kids' lives, whether it be the boys team or the girls team, and just help make a difference. I have players in Virginia that I still in contact with after 14 years, 13 years now, and they still call me coach. And I'm like, you're married with kids. You don't have to call me coach anymore.
That's cool.
And they said, oh yeah, we do. And I had one of them say, and I thought this was just an awesome thing. He goes, Coach, I don't know if I've ever told you how much your influence has actually helped change my life and has helped me become a better adult.
That's awesome.
And I says, and he goes, and the older I get, the more I realize the influence that you had, and I'm like, well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's why I do it. I love the sport, but I love reaching into these kids' lives.
And high school coaching is a lot different than coaching 5 and 6 year olds too.
Oh yes.
Where they're just like bees around the hive, right? The ball being the hive, where they just kind of all follow.
Well, coaching there's kind of easy. Yeah. That way, yeah. Go that way.
But you actually have to do drills and learning how to pass.
Dealing with tactics.
Yeah. What's offsides? What?
Yeah. So we have fun, and I got a great group of guys right now. I'm very proud of them. We have our first game this coming Friday, and we'll see how we do.
Yeah, and you might even be missing our. We've got an outing to the River Cats game. We rented a booth there and got like 40 of our, 40, not 40 people. We don't have 40 people working here, but we've got 20 people and their families coming. So, and you're going to be coaching.
Yeah, I'll be in a game down, I think in Encina on that day. So
it does take up quite a bit of your time.
It does.
And you're not exactly doing it to pay for your retirement.
No, not at all. But it's, again, the payment is, they reimburse me some. But the real payment is having these kids making a difference in their lives and,
that's cool.
and giving back to that. Giving back and because I had a lot of coaches when I was growing up and they were doing the same thing.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I just want to say thank you for doing that, because my daughter, she's 21 now, but she went to Sale when Sale was first opening.
Okay.
And one of the things that was challenging for her, and she did love soccer as a kid, so I was thinking about the little running around, little bumblebees on the field. Both my kids did that, and But one of the things about Sale when it opened was it didn't have a sports program, and so we were brand new. We didn't know what we were doing yet. We're just trying to get funding for the school, get it going, and so I think it's great that you're able to help in that capacity. So thank you, because that was really something that was a good experience when my kids were in sports, and I know startup schools and smaller population schools have a hard time having enough
A lot of them
kids on a
send their
team.
kids to NU, right? I know a couple.
Yeah.
They were doing that for a while.
Well, yeah. As a matter of fact, my oldest daughter graduated from Godoti,
Right.
And at that point in time, she played water polo, and they were able to join NU Sports for that. But they don't do that anymore. There's no crossover as far as that goes.
Cool. So anyway, so you never know. Our plumbers are doing other things outside of the plumbing world and doing some fun.
My whole life doesn't have to be about plumbing.
Right.
Well,
It does have to
you know
revolve
what?
That's not
around
what you said.
But you know what, though? This is an amazing segue into my first question, because this is going to be our final
Well, should we talk about?
show.
Well, let's lead in with a little more though, because we talked about how we need to lead in with our little specials going on. So we don't want to forget about those.
Okay,
So-
well, you do that, and then I'll take the mic,
Then we'll
and then
come
I'll
back
pass
to
it
you.
to you.
So we're trying to get the formatting here. So one of the things that we've been doing. So with Dan is here, and he's heading up our drain cleaning division. I know you've heard about it last week, but we'll talk a little bit more about it here. We started this drain cleaning division about 3 months ago, 2.5 months ago, and you've got a lot of experience with drain cleaning and worked for a couple of our local strictly drain cleaning companies up here, and I have as well. I worked for the Navas for quite some time when I first moved up here. But anyway, we just started this division, and we're doing a crazy deal right now, $97 for any residential drain in the house, whether it's inside or outside. If we don't clear it, it's free, so it's only $97. We also have a special on a water heater flush. It's $49. Come out and make sure the water heater is doing what it's supposed to be doing, not spewing carbon monoxide into your house, making sure to get all the sediment out of it. You should be, if you're on a well, you should really be flushing your water heater at least yearly. We're also doing an electrical safety inspection, 10-point safety inspection, where we check the fixtures in the house. We check the panel, make sure everything's working properly, make sure nothing's wearing out, making sure nothing's arcing. Arcing is literally electrons trying to find ground, and just like lightning, so it'll jump through the air, which then can cause a fire. So things wear out, so we want to make sure those things aren't wearing out.
A lot of electrical fires happen, and it's because of not keeping up with that electrical system.
Worn out
So,
stuff.
yeah, it's definitely a...
And it's cheap, $49. We come
Yeah.
out and do a thorough inspection. And we also do HVAC inspection, where we come out and make sure your furnace and heater, and your furnace and your heater, your furnace and your air conditioning is working properly. And as we move on through our summer, or end of summer, moving on to the fall, you never know when October's right around the corner. You never know when October's going to come. We know when October's going to come. You never know when heating season is going to come, but it usually comes in October, when all of a sudden the temperature just suddenly drops and we turn the furnace on. It'd be good to find out if that furnace is actually working and working properly and safely. Now it's your turn. Oh, you can reach us. Oh, I forgot the phone number. 530-230-9092. 530-230-9092. Now, Rosalie, why did people actually come to the show? To listen to DIY do's and don'ts?
I don't know why they come to the show. I know why I have to come to the show. But I wanted to circle back just for a minute, because I thought it segued really well into the question. I'm going to flip the script on you guys. We're going to do the last question first. So, Dan, you were just kind of talking about, some of the things that are in your life outside of the job, right? So this kind of is perfect. One of the questions was, as a plumber, what's your least favorite part of the job? Don't answer yet. And what do you consider the most rewarding part of the job?
Wow. I'd say the least favorite part of the job is really not the job itself. You always have some customers that
Where are you going with this?
Can be a little bit of a pain.
We deal with the public.
Yeah.
We don't need to.
I
If
try to
you've
be
ever
nice.
worked in any kind of service industry, you can't make everybody happy. It's just physically and literally impossible.
But with that being said, on the flip side, we get a lot of great customers that are just an absolute joy to work with, and we're able to help solve their needs. One of my most rewarding parts of the job is, again, doesn't necessarily have to do with the work itself. I enjoy the work, but it has to do with being able to help solve somebody's problem and make their life better, easier, more comfortable, those type of things. And I get a lot of satisfaction out of being able to help people, and a lot of times I'm able to give them options that go above and beyond just solving their initial issue and make their lives a lot easier than they were even thinking that was happening before. Like I had a irrigation system. She says, I got a bunch of leaks on it. By the time we were done, I said, I can actually put these all on systems that work on their own, and you won't even have to worry about going around turning valves on and off and watering and all this stuff, and it can all be done remotely, and you can control it with your phone. She goes, I didn't even know that was possible. So not only did I help her with the initial problem of the leaks, but then I was able to help make her life a whole lot easier. And especially since she had lost her husband not too long ago, who did a lot of this.
Right.
So it's those type of things that I just absolutely enjoy as a service tech, and as in the positions and everything I'm in now, is just being able to help the customers solve problems that for them are overwhelming.
I'm going to get into this too because it's a little different for me now. I was in the field for a long time. I'm in the office now all the time.
We don't give you a wrench anymore.
No. And things have. I've been out of the field long enough where I was trying to train somebody how to do something, and another experienced plumber, came up to me and was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm teaching them how to do X." I think it was replacing a gas control and a water heater, and it's like, "Yeah, they haven't been manufactured for that for 5 years." I'm like, "What?" So anyway, I've had to literally stop doing that. I'm kind of out of the field, but so one of the things that one of the things that we least like about the job is unhappy customers. That's one of the hardest things for me is trying to keep people happy, and we do our best. But like I said, we are working with the public, so we're not going to make everybody happy. But we try to do whatever we can. We will bend over backwards to make sure the customer's happy. But sometimes we have to bend over really far. What are the things that the most rewarding? On this side of it, not that I'm doing plumbing much anymore, but it's the people. Like we've got an amazing group of people, and like you were talking about earlier about changing people's lives. Through this company, through this thing that we've built now. I mean, we're up to 35 people now. We've been able to have people buy homes in California because of this job. We've had people. I know this is going to sound awful, but didn't have dental insurance, didn't have any way of fixing their teeth. I've got 3 people that have a grill now it's sad, but that's just the state of our healthcare in this country. And they were actually able to make enough money and have insurance where they are actually able to fix their teeth. And now they can smile. I have one guy that he said, I hadn't smiled in like 5 years. And now he can smile. And that was really rewarding to me. Buying new cars and being able to send their kids to college, that sort of thing, and being able to take care of their families, I think it's really rewarding. I really enjoy it. But there's a lot.
I would say this about ABT, and I've been asked multiple times, Dan, why don't you go out on your own, or why don't you do that? And I said, well, why would I leave a company that's taking care of me? Because in reality, I could go anywhere and I could do anything I want at any time.
Yeah,
I could find a job tomorrow someplace else.
Yeah. Easily.
But I don't want to find a job somewhere else. I'm happy here. And that's the type of culture that we have here. And I want to be able to help continue that and everything else. But people go, well, do you like it there? And I said, well, I'm still here. Yeah. And if I didn't like it, I could leave.
He literally did leave at one point and came back. Because the grass was greener somewhere else, but apparently it wasn't quite as green.
No.
And I've had a few people that have done that. The door, as long as they don't burn that bridge, they're always welcome back.
Well, here's something. So this is a really good midway segue. So we are hiring at the moment for HVAC service technician and HVAC install, I believe. So that information is located on our website. So if you want to find out about working with and for ABT, I want you to head to easyasabt.com or abtplumbing.com, and then you'll see.
And we got matching 401k, health insurance, vacation pay, 4 weeks of vacation pay, health or
I might
sick
apply.
leave.
I might apply.
What else do we got? Fun things. We're taking everybody out to the River Cats in a little while. So yeah, we do
Everybody but me.
barbecue. Yeah, you might be going. Yeah, that whole soccer thing. That whole
And
volunteer
I don't.
stuff.
Yeah. I won't be there.
Well, you're welcome to.
You can fly
drive on up.
It's in Sacramento. You can take a flight up and you can leave
to see
that
the
evening.
River Cats. I'll just go up to Black and see the Dodgers. But thank you.
Right.
But no, I'm with
You're
you.
good.
I'm with you.
All right, what's our second question?
Okay, so that was really good.
That's good.
We really pounded that into the ground, didn't we? Okay.
Yeah.
So here's a question that's not so gratuitous to ABT. So I'm noticing a small amount of water on the floor after running my dishwasher. Does this mean I need a new dishwasher? And is there a way for me to diagnose this before I commit to buying a new one?
That's a tough one because we're not really appliance guys. I would say first I would determine whether or not it's water that you're spilling when you're doing the dishes, because I've had those calls and it was just user error. It wasn't the fixture itself or the appliance. Dishwashers leaking. It could just be a gasket around the dishwasher, so I'd call an appliance person out and have them figure it out. We don't do appliances. But then the thing that I found with dishwashers and washing machines and refrigerators and things of that nature, by the time they need to be repaired, which is usually about 10 or 15 years, this day and age where things are so expensive and labor is so expensive, I often question whether or not it's worth calling out somebody to come and fix it. I know it's hateful to say, and sorry, you appliance guys out there, but if I don't have Sub-Zero, $10,000 Sub-Zero refrigerator or a $15,000 Wolf range, if I've just got like a $300, $400 range, or actually I don't know if you can get a range for that, but I know I've got a problem with my dryer in one of our units right now. I got to go deal with. I think I paid $150 for that thing used. I'm gonna take a look at it. If I can't fix it in 10, 15 minutes, I'm just gonna find another one. So if I've got a dishwasher that's leaking, and it's not me, and it's 10, 15, 20 years old, yeah, buy a new one. Because by the time you fix it, it's kind of like, if I've got a car that's got 300,000 miles on it, and the engine, I blow the engine out, is it worth replacing the engine, or do I just get a new car? For me, I don't want to deal with any of the hassles that all the other components around it that have 300,000 miles on it. Yeah, I can get maybe another 6 months to a couple of years out of it. I'll just buy another car. Same thing with a dishwasher. By the time you're said and done, you're out under $1,000 for a new one, probably closer to $500 or $600 for a new one. Whereas getting somebody in to fix it, you're talking minimum of $150 to $300 to have somebody fix anything these days.
I would say this: if it's a dishwasher and you have a constant water under there, it doesn't come and go. That might mean it's a water service line going to it.
And we do fix that.
And we do fix that. But also, if you want to look at that, open up. There's 2 screws down at the bottom that actually hold the kind of like a faceplate underneath the dish. Pull that out and see if you can see if the water's coming in to the water line coming into it, which is usually on the front left side. And just see if that's a dripping right there. If that's the case, call a plumber out. If not, again, you're probably looking at a new dishwasher. It could be the seal, it could be whatever. But if it's an older dishwasher, I agree, it's probably not worth fixing.
And
it's
that's
probably best to replace.
A great DIY thing, and I'm going to teach you a little trick that I learned many years ago from, I'm sure somebody told me how to do it. Find
towel.
Exactly a paper towel or a piece of toilet paper. I found toilet paper works the best because it's more absorbent and you can see it better. Because sometimes you have that leak that only drops a drop of water every 5, 10, 30 seconds. So I will put a piece of toilet paper underneath.
Or even several minutes.
It can be minutes. It can be a long time. So I'll put something underneath there so I can see, a visual representation. So I'll put a piece of paper towel underneath it. And if I come back after going to do something, then I know I have a leak. But because I can look there and I can look at it for a couple of minutes and not see anything, but I know I've got water there. I know there's a problem somewhere. By putting a piece of toilet paper down there, that usually will let me know.
Yeah, underneath that water line.
Underneath that connection. The water line typically doesn't. The hose or the tube doesn't usually leak. It's usually just that connection. Right. That 1/4-inch compression fitting will leak. I think we have time for one more.
We do. We do. But that little explanation with paper towels, what I was looking for, because I've heard us talk about that before. So, good job, Andrew.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've used that for underneath toilets, underneath dishwashers.
Between the tank and the bowl. On
Between the tank and the bowl. I've used that so many different places, and it has saved me. I can't tell you how many callbacks. And a callback being where you finish the job, you got everything taken care of.
You collect the job and you got everything taken care of.
You collect the check and you drive away, and you get a call a day later, and there's a leak, and you're like, I was just out there and I didn't see any problem. I got to the point where I would just, after a new install, I put a piece of toilet paper underneath the toilet, underneath everything, and while I was doing the paperwork, and go back and collect it, because I can't tell you how many times I've had that issue where I knew I had it and I nailed it, and I didn't. And now all of a sudden I got to drive all the way back out there for 2 seconds
to turn a screw 3/4 of a turn more.
Yeah. Brutal.
Oops. Okay,
Yeah.
so the last question, this is going to round out our series here. How often should I treat my septic? And is this something I can do myself, or do I have to call a pro?
I guess that's me.
That would definitely be.
Yeah, when it comes to your septic system, first of all, it ought to be checked by somebody who knows what they're doing every 3 to 5 years. 5 years is probably a good...
Do we do that?
Yes, we do.
Oh.
We do check it. We don't pump.
Right.
But we do check. We can check to see what the solid levels are in the tank, things like that. And so when people say, is my septic tank full, they're not talking about liquid level. They're talking about solid level. How much solids are in the tank? What usually happens is when the solids on the top and the solids on the bottom equal 25% of that volume's height, that's when it's time to pump. And we have tools and stuff to be able to see how much solids are on the top and how much solids are on the bottom. So, we used to send scuba divers down there to try to do that, but we've been having a hard time hiring them lately when they found out what we were asking them to do.
And how much we pay them to do it.
Yeah. So now we have what we call a sludge judge to be able to check that.
And I want to back up a little bit, because what's the purpose of a septic tank? The only thing a septic tank does is slow the water down, so it allows the solids to either float or sink. And then they go through a baffle to another tank. So there's literally 2 tanks inside of a septic tank. And again, they either float or they sink. And then what we're trying to do is get as many of the solids out before they get to the leach field, because once they get to the leach field, they can clog the leach field. Yep. So if you don't maintain your septic system, those solids can get into your leach field and then wipe out your leach field. And a lot of the houses up here were built in a time when we didn't have to do much in terms of permitting and testing. So your soil may perk or it may not, and you may only be on a half-acre lot where we don't have another place to put a regular septic tank and our leach field. Now we're having to put in an engineered system. So by not maintaining your system, not only are you talking about a detrimental or catastrophic effect, but you may be talking $40,000, $60,000 to $80,000 to put in an engineered system. So definitely maintain
Take
these
care
things.
of it.
Yeah.
And the other thing
we got to wrap it up. Sorry. We're at the end. We only have like 40 seconds left. We've got a lot of information on this. We'll catch it up next time. If you need any plumbing, drain cleaning, electrical, heating, air work, you can reach us at 530-230-9092, 530-230-9092. Don't forget about our specials. You can also find us on abtplumbing.com. And with that, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next week. Bye.
Bye.